3D modeling is actually kinda easy. Kinda. See, I wanted to tackle the skill for a very long time, but truthfully, I've been scared. Like, what do you mean this isn't a 2D entity and it's 3D and it's made of a cube or a sphere and people do shit to it and now becomes this? How did it turn into this? It was a cube before, it doesn't make any sense! And like, besides the point, I've always wanted to try 3D modeling but never had the chance to. Well, I did try when I was a little bit younger, but, well, I had a shit PC back then, but it's been a while since then. And, you know, what if I just wanted to be 3D? I don't want to be tethered to a 2D plane. That's so boring! And so it got me thinking, you know, hey, why don't I just make a 3D model? Yeah, if I make a 3D model of myself, I don't have to draw a single frame for any video ever again. Not only that, it means way less work for me and way more uploads for you guys. It's a win-win for both parties. Well, of course, the only problem is I need to learn how to 3D model. Huh. Did I mention I gave myself a week? Now, before anything, I'd love to give credit to Rayzaria and Alan Liu for this video idea. They're probably the main reason why I made this video, so yeah. And oh, I forgot to mention the program I'm using. I'm using Blender. It's free, that's why we're using it. For this project, I decided to make a low poly model, mainly because my friend recommended it. But if you don't know what low polys are, well, they're basically this, and this, and this, and this. And if you look very closely, they're not very intricate or complicated at all. They're actually made of simpler shapes with way fewer polygons. And you tend to see a lack of smooth edges overall when you look at these models, and in short, they're way easier to make than whatever this is. Do you expect me to make this in a week? Hell no! Besides, I think they're really cute. Since I was going to model this in Blender, I decided it'd be wise to make a character sheet before anything else. Cause, you know, 3D dimensions. Ooh. For the art style, I wanted my girl to look 2D and 3D at the same time. Does that make sense? Does it make sense? I don't. After looking through old and current PNGs of my persona, I found a couple problems with it. One being, I struggle to make expressive facial expressions when I draw her. And two, she doesn't really stand out. I don't know if you know this, but she kinda just wears a basic pink hoodie, which is fine since I'm drawing her all the time, but it's honestly pretty generic. And so, after digging through a bunch of references, I found this really old drawing I made when I was 11, and it was amazing! It was awesome! It had the exact vibe I was going for. It was cartoony and had these eyes that were sassy and smiley. I don't know how else to explain them, but they were just smiley eyes and I loved how they looked. And I also like this lineless style I went for, and so I decided to add it into the design. And then for the outfit, since I was modeling her in 3D, I didn't have to worry about drawing her all the time, since I was going to pose and rig her instead. So eventually I decided I wanted the new design to still resemble her old look without losing any of the key details, but enough added detail to keep her unique. And so I kept the faded pink hair, kept the hoodie, slightly changed it a bit, gave her colorful socks, and added a little diamond shape to her head. For the people who know, you know. My favorite part of this entire design is probably the zip-up jacket, because I would personally wear this. I need it. I need this. I need it to be real. And if you're somehow still following along, I'd recommend making a back and a side view as well. It'll make your life so much easier. Just trust me on this one. Also, why are side profiles so hard to draw? Like, why are we built like that from the side? It took me forever to get her spine looking right. Why are humans built like this? Why are we built like this? And now it was time to open up Blender. Okay, maybe this was a bad idea after all! Now, for every skill you try to pick up, you have to learn the basics, right? That's the most logical step to take, obviously. And so I looked up a bunch of tutorials, and oh, will you look at that? It's the donut tutorial. Huh. 4 hours? No way. I don't remember it being 4 hours. What the hell? And so I watched the tutorial. Guys, I don't understand a thing. What is this guy saying? And then quickly realized I have the attention span of a fly. Yeah. And so I clicked off and just ended up phoning my friend to help me. Thank goodness he agreed, 'cause I'd be helpless without him. And from here, he introduced me to edit mode and object mode. In edit mode, you can basically edit your shape. Like, look at this cube, select this part and press E. Now it's a longer cube, whoa! And object mode is basically where you can view your mesh, or object in its original state. And if you press tab, you can switch between the two, isn't that crazy? And you can also press the scroll wheel on your mouse to move around, which is kind of funky, but Blender's always kind of weird. And if you look to this side, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what half of these do, but all you really need to know is the modifier and render tab. At least that's what I got out of it. What happened to my cube? Skin? Okay, whatever. After learning some of the basics, I decided to do a little practice run and try modeling this tattoo design I made from my last video, which was my first official music video. Yippee! It's out on Spotify! Now, I know I said we were gonna try make low polys, but I think we're gonna start with a spear before anything else, cause head shape. Okay, we're just gonna select this part and like stretch it out. Okay, guys, I think I'm seeing the vision. Do you guys see the vision? How are we gonna do the hair? I'm following this girl, right? And you can clearly see she pulls up a cube, and then she does witchcraft to it because apparently it becomes this after like a few minutes. I'm like, what? And I've been trying to follow. I was like, okay, she stretched it out. But what else did she do? How did it turn into this? I don't understand. Long story short, after a good 5 hours of pressing the same keys all over again, I gave up. But hey, this is kind of good. She kind of looks good. I didn't get her finish her hair, but you can tell it's Teto, right? Right? Modeling the thing. Modeling the thing. Modeling the thing. Modeling the thing was actually quite pleasant. I know, you don't expect those words to come out of my mouth, but they did anyway. In fact, I found a lot of similarities between drawing and 3D modeling. Like, for example, when you draw, you usually sketch out basic shapes first before drawing. Like, well, when you're drawing a head, you start off with a basic circle, and the same principle kind of applies to modeling. If I were to break down my reference into shapes, you'll find out they're made of rectangles, just stretched out in various ways. Since this was a low poly model, I could basically get away with using really simple shapes. So yippee! All I had to do was add a bunch of low poly cylinders, stretch them out, merge them together, and it was that easy! It was that easy! It was that... So, for the most part, it was going really well. Until I had to model the hair! Can you guys quickly take a look at this reference and see how I could possibly turn this into a 3D object? Like, it's got spikes on the back and the side, and I'm supposed to turn this into a 3D thing? Look, I'm not a genius. In fact, I'm very far from it. The amount of times I had to remodel and redo her hair was ungodly. Half the time, she literally looked like a full-on Christmas tree, and Santa was probably looking down on me for the atrocities I committed on this poor girl. Like, look at her. Hasn't she been through enough, guys? I don't know what to do. She looks so bad. And so, fast forward, I ended up just working on the rest of the body instead, and it wasn't that bad, mainly because I had a bunch of references from every angle with me. It really made the whole process so much easier, and I ended up just settling with the hair, figuring that maybe the coloring would actually fix it, so yeah! Honestly, I was really looking forward to this part, UV mapping and texturing, because I'd finally get to bring my girl to life! she'd finally get all the color she needed, because right now she kind of looks like an old decrepit tree. So far I'd basically been able to figure out most things alone with little to no tutorials, so I thought maybe I could do this on my own. Don't do this on your own. UV unwrapping is hell. Whoever invented this, I don't know what went through your mind, but what the hell? And so it turns out to properly texture this, I need to turn her into a flat map. 3D to 2D, what are we doing here? I thought we were 3D modeling, why are we going back to 2 dimensions? Okay, but think of it as like Minecraft skins, you know? This flat map thing, yeah, that's basically what I had to do, but I don't know if you noticed, but Minecraft characters are made of cubes. And I don't know if you noticed, but my character ain't made of cubes. I ended up watching quite a lot of tutorials, if not all of them. It helped a bit, but not really. After trying to figure this out on my own, I gave up and just called my friend again. And he decided to explain it to me by making low poly Sonic together. And he explained UV unwrapping way better than any tutorial could. I'm not gonna lie here, he kind of helped a lot with this part, like he did most of the UV unwrapping for my model, if not all of it. I still did some parts myself, but I don't think I did a great job because there are a few artifacts, like some parts of the model are green, but honestly, I can't be bothered anymore. They're not that visible from afar anyway. And since I didn't have a drawing tablet, I had to make placeholder textures with my mouse and import them into ibis paint to draw over them. And after all that work, she's finally real! Look at her! Doesn't she look stunning? Rigging her was supposed to be the easiest step out of all the others, because in theory, all I had to do was add one of the template rigs from Blender, align it with my model, and it'll generate an automatic rig for me. Now, this rig was, what the fuck is going on? Why is her hair moving like that? Whoa, what the fudge? Why is she like this? So yeah, the rig Blender generated wasn't good, so it took me a few more attempts to get her moving right, but eventually I got it to move properly. Well, honestly, there were still a few things wrong with her rig. A lot of things wrong with her rig. But I can't be bothered. Look, she's not perfect, okay? Very much far from it. But it gives her personality, you know, she got wabi-sabi, whatever the saying goes. Her rig may work 60% of the time, but it doesn't matter, so we're moving on. I also wanted the face to be riggable, so for the face I followed this tutorial. The guy explained it really well, I do recommend it. But basically you tie your rig to a texture map and it scrolls through different emotes. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This looks really complicated and scary, but trust me, it wasn't that complicated. The tutorial guy explained it really well. I had a ton of fun deciding and drawing all the different expressions for her. I ended up settling on 8 different facial rigs for now. I'll definitely add more after this video, along with some final retouches. But look at this! Isn't it so cool? Her face switches texture as we move this rig. Isn't it so cool? So hi! Ta-da! I'm 3D now! This was honestly the most frustrating but rewarding experience ever. Now, would I consider myself a Blender pro? No. No way. I've got a long way to go before I can call myself a half-decent 3D modeler, or whatever you call it. But I'm really happy with the final result. To anyone who wants to try 3D modeling or a new skill, I'd say just go for it. I mean, you don't have much to lose, only much to gain, really. Welcome to the end of the video! Yippee! I've been trying to get more comfortable with the mic. Oh, dog's barking. Anyways, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I bought a new mic and I might sound different this video. I don't know, maybe I sound worse or better. Tell me in the comments. Maybe I'll just switch back if this mic is terrible. But I've been enjoying these types of videos, like where I kind of challenge myself to learn a new skill. I think it's really fun for me, and I think it's very entertaining for you guys. I don't know about that. I know I'm a storytime YouTuber, that's what I said. I don't know, maybe if you guys are interested, maybe comment some things I could try next. Like, maybe we could, like, make a VTuber. That might be out of my scope, but I'll try. If a lot of you suggest it, I'll try to make it happen. And also, thank you for the amount of support on my music video and my song. I'm just so happy you guys enjoyed it. I'm actually working on a new song right now. Thank you for all the fan art. I tried to fit as many of you guys in here. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. Bye!